when you play any sport or anything that you do for a long period of time, stamina is super important, more than just energy. And when you think about stamina, mind plays a massive role. So I want to start there and say, what is it kind of to have, what is it about mind that applies to you? What do you think about it when you think about mind over matter in your own life, in your own journey in Apex?
First of all, another caveat is I'm very comfortable talking about Apex, the business, and what we do and how it's grown. Very uncomfortable talking about myself. So I'm very below the radar, and that's why most people don't know anything about me. But I will today. So in terms of mind and what's important,
Sure.
I think the most important thing growing up anyway for me was to be competitive, whether it's about sports or anything else. And that then blends into business. And the fact that it's like you never give up. It's a determination. And I think my biggest attribute is actually what I would call grit, is actually never be defeated, never not solve a problem, never go backwards, always take the step forward, always take the brave decision when you've got a choice. And I think it's that sort of fortitude. And it's also, not being afraid to fail. I think too many people are cautious when they're in businesses or worried about what their boss will think if they get it wrong. I'm encouraging people in Apex to make decisions, make quick decisions, and if they're wrong, we'll fix them. Not everyone can do that, but it's that bravery, I think, which is important.
So you hit an important word, grit, and I think that's a key one. There's an orthogonal dimension around grit that I want to talk to you about, which is purpose. I'm sure when you went through starting Apex, let's talk about Apex and say, what was the broader purpose? I mean, of course, you need grit all the way to carry it through, but what was kind of the motivation and the purpose that was kind of driving you to say, this is something that I need to solve through an entrepreneurship? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, before I started Apex, I was a CFO for a fund of funds business, so you're getting reporting from 30 other fund services like Goldman Sachs and the large service providers. But I didn't really feel that they cared about their clients. They cared about the big clients, but not the medium-sized and small clients. So that was my real opportunity, was to look after everyone to a high standard, because the small clients become medium clients and the medium clients become big clients. And that's really what the focus was, or the gap I saw was actually looking after every client to a high standard, because I didn't see that from the other providers when I started.
Got it. Okay. So when you talk about success, and we talk about redefining success, but there's got to be a definition of success to redefine that. Let's kind of go back to 2003 when you started this company. What was kind of success for you at that point in time? I mean, I'm sure there was financial success that was clearly there, but there was an element of something beyond finance that would have probably been defined by you at that point in time in terms of success. What did that look like at that point in time?
Yeah, I think when I was 33, 34, I didn't have the same sort of confidence. You want to see, well, actually, can I do this? Can I try it? Will I be any good at it? And I thought I owed it to myself to try and then see how good I could be. And then once you get on the journey, then you keep pushing the boundaries forward and forward and forward. And 21 years later, I'm still pushing them forward, and not looking back for a second. So it's not about what I've created or where I've come from. It's where can I take this business? And actually, as you say, purpose. Now I've got a big platform. How can I use that platform to make a difference?
Right.
And that's really the next phase of what I'm trying to think about. Is actually, it's great having a big global business, which is quite successful, but actually where do you give back, either internally or externally? And then how do you use that platform for good?
So there's probably a lot of commitment that you made to yourself when you started this company, saying, here's what I'm going to do, this is a commitment. Can you think of any of those commitments that don't stand good anymore? I mean, you said, oh, wait a minute, no, that was my younger self which made some foolish stuff. It didn't even matter at that point. Like, can you think of those type of things? Because a lot of the people in the audience are probably sitting there in that moment right now. So what is it that you can share about that?
Yeah, I think it's certainly understanding the importance of EEDI, and how that's evolved, and as I've grown up, and I've understood the value of that and how that connects to ESG. We have a very strong ESG business within Apex, so making sure we walk the walk along the way is really critical. So I'm on our EEDI committee, and I think that's really important for us to be able to sort of even be a leader in terms of how we're thinking about that in sort of the financial community, because we've forgotten about, and so we're putting that forward and first. And I sort of recognize that maybe 3 or 4 years too late in hindsight, but we've got it right now.
Okay. Is there a talent of yours that you had, let's say, when you started this company, that you sit there and say, I don't use this anymore?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think my talent is just being average at lots of things. So
I think you're being too humble. That's probably your superpower, right?
I do say it's a talent. So if you take sports as an example, I can play every sport to an average level, but I'm not very good at any of them. So I think the same thing works when you're running.
So it's funny. Let me just double click on that, Peter. Is kind of being good at many different things so underrated that you actually need to have that kind of to have that perspective and to be successful in this? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Well, I think that's applies to the business as well. I can do every person's job in the company to a pretty good level, but I can't excel particularly at any of them. So you're understanding what they're doing, you can empathize with what they need, you can put yourself in their seat, imagining their day. And I think as a leader, that's a pretty powerful thing to be able to do, whereas most people don't have that skill to be able to say, well, actually, that's a fund accountant doing that, or that's someone in sales doing that. That picturing of what they're doing each day and what makes them thrive is actually quite helpful.
Got it. Is there any decision about Apex that you've kind of made that you just keep postponing? Is there anything that you sit there and say, I needed to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, but you just keep, is there anything like that you can share?
Well, it's stepping down from being CEO, I guess. I thought about doing that 10 years ago, and we're still here.
I don't think your board's too happy to hear that.
No, they're keen to keep me in my place. But no, I think that is the hard thing is when you're running hard and you're on this sort of hamster wheel maybe, or treadmill, and you're achieving good things and you're doing the right thing, you're building a good business. It's like, well, how do you stop?
A good turn deserves another good turn.
Yeah, exactly. And I keep looking 5 years ahead and what could the company be doing and the value it could be bringing and the new products it could be bringing forward and the value of those. So, I think certainly always keep looking forward, and then you wonder, where do you get off the bus?